Okay, so I wanted to show you my process for kind of prepping a cake. Um, it's so this is Nightbreaker. It's a Noab basically in a box. Real nice cake from AFW. Uh, so the first thing I do is I find my fuse, and I'm gonna kind of give it a little tug to tear it through, just so I'm bringing it closer to wherever that tube is. And then what I'm going to do is, so I know that it's right in this general area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to carve with the knife an area. I'm going to take that corner and pry it away. And lo and behold, it actually circles back a little bit. So I'm going to take a little more material. So I want to expose where the fuse actually meets up with the tube. So then I'm going to take that. I tend to leave the wicks in. The fuses stay in a lot of cases. If they fall out, it's not a big deal, but I like the idea of if it doesn't for some reason light during the show, then I have a fuse in it and I can light it manually if need be. So I'm just going to kind of hold it off to the side. And then I'm going to take this poke that I've got. It's brass. I'm sure you probably have heard by now that if you're going to be poking into cakes, you want to use a brass awl because it's non-sparking, so it doesn't cause any kind of friction in there. You don't have to worry about static electricity buildup or any problems when you're poking into the cake. But you don't want to do this indoors. I'm in the garage, which is bad enough, but I would not do this in the house, just in case. I mean, you always want to try to, safety first with what you're doing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this, and I bought this one. I love this one, by the way, and I can put the information in the comments if you're interested. It's really nice. It's really ergonomic, which is important when you're doing a lot. So anyway, you're going to get in there right where the wick is, and I'm going to get right into it and basically put a hole, and that is a 1/4 inch awl, so it will put a hole in that I'll be able to put my MGJ lighter, igniter, I mean. So then you want to cover that hole. You don't want to put the igniter in until you're actually the day of. I don't put it in until I'm in the field, because that is a situation that has a little more chance of a spark happening or some static or something. So you don't want to put your igniters in before your day of show where you're in your location. And always, be very careful. You always want to keep your head and arms and everything else away from the tubes when you're doing that sort of thing. But I digress. Point is we've got a hole now that's ready for me, so when I'm in the field I can push it in there, good to go. And then what I'm going to do next is the labels that I created from Show Creator. I'm getting down to the nitty grit, which is good news for me. But this is Nightbreaker. And here I have 2 labels for it. It gives me my channel, my cue, my position. I'll cover that in another video though if I haven't already. I put that on there, and that way when we pull it out of the box and location, it tells me what position to put it in, what channel it connects to, or module, and which cue it is. Then the last thing I do is I take the top off, because I prefer to take the tops off. Not everybody does it. It just means less cleanup. It means less shredded paper everywhere after the show. And I tend to shoot in locations that aren't necessarily mine, so I care about being clean. So I take the tops off. And no, I don't want to do this on the day of, because honestly, 198, 200 products that you have to cut the top off, you're talking about an hour's worth of work or 2 hours worth of work if you're the only one doing it. So you don't want to do that either. So that's a prepped cake, labeled, ready to go, so that when I just pull it out of the box on the day of the shoot, we know where it goes, what it does, and then I'm ready to put it in here. And so that, and then repeat 198 times or so, and you got yourself ready for show.